Alright. Alright, damn. Okay, you know, for first jam of the day, this is not a bad one. This is not a bad one at all. Though it does appear I am immediately out of focus. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I'm not. I'm not at all. I'm not out of focus. I'm tired and have bedhead. Probably should take the time to fix that, but you know what? I'm not gonna do. I'm not gonna do that. Not gonna. Oh. Alright. Fantastic. Hey, hi, hello. Let's adjust the mic. Turn it towards my face. Vaguely. Alexandrian Codex. What are we up to today? Not much, man. Not much. I slept in past 2. Which means I was asleep until, like, I don't know, noon. Then, yeah, existential despair, I think, is probably the best way to phrase kept me in bed. Hell yeah. Rad shit, rad shit. Like, it looks like a pretty day outside. But I live in a major metropolitan area, and going outside means being around people. I don't want to be around people, because y'all there be like. Saturdays are... And this is just covered in caves. Saturdays are weird these days. Pretty weird. God, this is straight up a very summertime weekend jam. Some good stuff. I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right. I think I woke up kind of in a weird headspace. I don't remember... That's a lie. I remember what I dreamed about, but I don't want to talk about it. It took me a minute, but now I'm back to it. After I got off of here last night, I was... Oh, I think I spent too much time on Twitter, and too much time not going to bed.
Yes!
There it is. Hey, Corey. I wrote and rewrote a poem? I mean, it was starting to become a poem. I was writing and rewriting something like 3 different times. Just couldn't get it right before going to bed last night, so I went to bed, like, kind of frustrated and, like, sad that I couldn't express this thing that I was trying to express. That was disheartening. It's not something that I'm... Ooh, we got bees. Alright, that tree can stay. It wasn't like a really complex idea. It was more just... I couldn't get the right imagery. Like, the right imagery and feeling for what I was trying to describe. I was trying to talk about what I'm missing from romantic relationships. A particular brand of romantic relationships. But, like, the more detail I'd go into, or whatever imagery I used, it would all be imagery that was evocative of, like, a couple specific people in my life. People who I've dated, or people who I miss, and, you know, I was coming to the realization that it's pretty hard to describe, the kind of romance, or relationship, or interaction that I'm wanting outside of the context of having shared those, or similar, interactions with people that I know. Now, I didn't want to write a poem about my first time hooking up with someone, or how much I missed someone's eyes, or something like that. I didn't want it to be that kind of poem because I wasn't feeling really like missing people until I started writing it, and then it got me sad and nostalgic. What I sat down wanting to write about was like missing that exploratory phase in relationships where it's new and exciting and you're still trying to figure out how you fit together or if you fit together. So you're trying out different roles and positions of you know, literal like sexual positions, but also like positions of power and not authority necessarily, that's too strong of a word, but like the ways that you fit together and play together. That's what I was trying to describe missing, but I wanted to do it in a way filled with imagery and metaphor or simile, and kept sliding into comparisons that were like too on the nose and made me sad to ruminate on. Because like also I could veer too specific and get, I don't know, be posting things that are just uncomfortably real or specific for people. Specifically the people involved. I always feel weird writing about my romantic or sexual experiences with people without buy-in from the other people involved, because I don't know, man. Just because somebody hooks up with me, it doesn't mean that they want to end up as a poem, right? Do I want to leave this as kind of a U shape, or... Hell yeah, it reaches. I don't really love the water spread though. So Minecraft water is very close in like the flow that it works, but water typically if you let it loose and give it somewhere to flow to, it'll find like a line of best fit and then conform to that line of best fit, and it'll shift over time, but basically it would take on kind of a snaking shape naturally. Like when you can observe this when you spill water onto a tabletop. It'll start out by going all over the place, but as it dries it starts to conform to flow shapes. Minecraft doesn't do the best job of that, but I mean their water physics for the time when the game first came out were fantastic. Where do I want to cut this? I want to cut it like here. Perfect, yep. I need more dirt. Just eat away at this hillside. There's no purpose to this. This is me going around landscaping. Landscaping something that's not even like remotely near where I am. Just like, I kind of like what's going on here, but I don't like this specific thing about it, so I'm gonna... engineer this a little bit. I think you specifically is where I need to put the block, right? Yeah. Let's go here. No, not quite. 1, 2. Water is just fascinating in how it flows. Hydrodynamics are weird stuff. Water, you know, historically, mythologically, culturally, has taken on a lot of connotations of life for obvious reasons. Not just because of the way that it enables life to exist, but also in its weird, lifelike movement. It's quite cool. Beautiful and surreal, even at times. Is that believable? Yeah, sure. Then do we have this flow down to the ocean? Why not? Can you cultivate that multiple times with a person? Not unless you both substantially changed. No, I don't think so. Like, the only way that you can cultivate, in my experience, like, this kind of new energy relationship is if you, like, meaningfully don't interact with the people or person for a period of time substantial to becoming a new person. Like, you can find new ways in which relationships fit together, new ways that people work together or don't work together. Sure. But... wait a minute. Oh, is that fair? But I think there's a lot of importance in recognizing that there are material reasons underlying why and how we fit together. Power dynamic coming from, like, positions of material authority, positions of wealth and power, social wealth, confidence even, and, like, physical ability or characteristics or physical or sexual attractiveness and comparative levels of attraction, emotional vulnerability and need and want and desire, and those things can fluctuate over time, but I think once you start having a baseline,
it doesn't count.
Once you start having a baseline, you really have to step back and, like, meaningfully restructure a lot to call that new relationship into energy. I don't know. I mean, some people feel like they can recapture that. Like, you know, it's like we're dating all over again. But to me, what that tends to be reflective of is this tendency in longer relationships to start to take one another for granted. Right? And this is actually flooding me a little bit.
You know, I mean, when I was younger, I don't know how many...
Skip. Too much words in the background there is flooding me. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm not an arbitrator of what is or is not true as far as relationships go, just kind of speaking from my own experience. Don't want that. Personally, and this is something I've brought up in conversation, actually, somewhat recently with someone I'm, like, distantly romantically and have a history of being romantically and sexually involved with, is this idea of, like, you know, we both carry a lot of preconceived notions about what it would be if we were to meet again, to spend time together, to rekindle an old flame, right? But, you know, we talked about those feelings are unrealistic. Like, they're somewhat wildly unrealistic in the sense that we are completely different people than we used to be. So, oftentimes, in periods of transition, whether they be from moving from one type of relationship to another, or restarting or rekindling a relationship. And I got this advice when I was a teenager, and I hated it. I rejected it outright. And really, it hurt my relationship with someone I had been dating up to that point. You gotta start from the ground floor. I think if you're really interested in recontextualizing a relationship, you gotta be friends and reacquaint yourselves with one another. Throw out assumptions, throw out things that you think you know, throw out ways that you think that you fit together, because you know you may, but you also may not. And certain modes, certain patterns, certain ways of behavior might have been true or useful, but they might not be true or useful or helpful or healthy anymore. Yeah, totally, man. I'll be around. It's an interesting thing to bring up. Talking about specifically what I've been talking about is the prompt from a poly perspective, which I just twist into from my perspective. Can you cultivate that kind of excitement, that kind of new relationship energy, that kind of feeling each other out, feeling out your roles and positions and the ways that you fit or don't fit together? You know, that thing that I was describing. And there's probably a succinct word for it that fits that's not coming to mind. Can you cultivate that multiple times with one person? Yeah, and that's what I was trying to answer. And again, it's not a prescriptive thing. I can't say absolutely for anyone besides myself, and you know, even with myself, there are exceptions to it. I don't know. I'm leaning towards it's hard work to intentionally deconstruct and reconsider all the assumptions and all the groundwork that you've worked together with someone. You can do it, but I don't think it's as easy as walking into a house where you've lived for 10 years and saying, okay, we're going to renovate. You have to tear down that house that you've been living in for 10 years. You have to level out the foundation. You have to take away all of the pieces, even the pieces that you've loved about the old house. And you know, maybe those pieces about the old house can fit into the new one, but you can't force it. You can hope. But if you're really setting out to make something new and recapture that energy, I think that having prior experience with people can be a bit of a hindrance. It can be a boon, in a way. Like, oh my god, it can be so exciting to meet up with someone, especially an old flame, and look at how amazing ways that they've grown have been, ways that they've changed, ways that you're so excited for one another that they've improved aspects of their life. They're more confident, they're more comfortable, they're more mature, they're more even-keeled, they're more, you know, whatever is applicable here. That's an incredible experience. But again, in my experience, for me, that comes with time and change and distance. And I don't think there's a way to speed that up. Relationships are to me a reflection of a complicated series of material and social conditions interlocking, which woohoo predispose us to certain kinds of the woohoo was because I saw the hole here and I'm like, I'm gonna die. Because I'm breaking Minecraft's number one rule, you don't dig straight down. Yeah, there's so much in play. There's so much in play. And I think the remodeling, right, there were no stairs here. I'm like, where'd all the stairs go? There were never stairs there to begin with, Grandpa. I want that kind of new relationship energy with new people. There are relationships, particularly romantic relationships, a couple of them, that I would love to revisit, reacquaint. Not because, like, haha, lonely or horny or anything like that. Me, low-key, sure, that's an element. But more so like, I date some pretty incredible people. Because if they weren't, I wouldn't date them, and I wouldn't like them. And these people, even if I'm not around them, even if we're not dating, even if we're not romantically or sexually involved, you know, those reasons that I find them amazing don't change. I can still be so excited about these people. And, like, really enthusiastic about my relationship with these people, getting to know them better, getting to understand them better, just being around them more. And, you know, prior to this year, this is something that I had spoken to a few people about with some degree of determination. That, yeah, we're gonna make this happen. I'm gonna fly out to you, you're gonna fly out to me. We're gonna date, essentially, is what it came down to. Like, let's go on some dates. Let's get to know each other all over again. And this isn't a thing that you can, like, do if it's only been, like, you know, a short while since you've seen someone. It's been years, I mean, like, almost a decade for one of these relationships. And it sounded, because it's been a while and I don't want to assert that what had been true is now true, that it'd be really exciting to catch up and get to know each other all over again. But you know, COVID happened. And that made it so that planning to travel was stupid and senseless. So it's you know, I what I'm tempted to say is a dream deferred, but wait, God, that's a bit intense, isn't it? But it is something put off for now, at least. Something put on a back burner, maybe to never happen. And some of these reunions, some of these reacquaintances, some of these first date to Electric Boogaloo kind of experiences are more realistic than others. And there's someone I really like that lives not far away, like a day trip away. I say someone, there are a couple people who live in close proximity. Then there are people who live on, you know, far coasts, people who live in other countries, where this sort of reunion fantasy, I think, I mean, I don't really like describing it like that, but it is roughly what it is, where that's a lot more or less possible. Ooh, should I make like a direct access tunnel to get to the spawner room? Nah, that's not necessary. I don't really know what I'm doing today. I mean, I could go back down in the mines, and, yeah, but I don't really want to right now. Please, Papa, I'll be good. Don't send me back to the mines. So yeah, that was a bummer. Obviously, bit of a disappointment. But it, you know, no one's fault. And even if it were, well, you know, it is someone's fault. But no one directly involved here. Classic. I think the phrase "it's no one's fault" I utilize to try to be like, I'm not mad at anyone, but it has a really weird base, right? Like, why does it matter if it's no one's fault? Why is blame the important thing to to prescribe here? And it isn't. What's more important to prescribe is, once this is all over, once time passes, are we emotionally, materially, etc., going to be in places where this kind of romantic notion is still attractive or appealing? And I guess that's what I'm feeling some degree of fear and anxiety about. Not like active fear or anxiety, just kind of low-key, like, I don't want to be forgotten. I don't want people to stop caring about me. And I recognize that when we are apart from people, we think about each other less, we feel about each other less, and I have a very slow and low burnout rate. Right when I don't see people, I retain feelings for folks for quite a long time. Now, I'm not trying to do some kind of comparative analysis of like what percentile I'm in or whatever, but this is just the thing. The thing I know is, or I feel is true about myself. And there are different degrees to which this can be healthy or unhealthy. Like maintaining, hey, I still really like you and love you and am fascinated by you for all the reasons that I ever was. That's fine, right? Like, cool. Glad to hear it. But like, when you start getting into I need you, or I can't live without you, or like things to that degree, or like I can't stand that we're apart, maybe chill out a little bit. Because emotions are intense things, you know, obviously. Feelings are hard. But you know, chill the fuck out a little bit, maybe. Do I just wanna... I think I do. Perfect. Is it still built into the wall, or did I get rid of it? I got rid of it. You know what? You live here. Now, I'm going on about, like, sad boy hour stuff, I guess, but I'm not sad. I'm not feeling like, oh, so rejected and alone. Like, I'm feeling very alone, but I'm not feeling rejected. And, like, how can you feel rejection, really, when you're in the kind of isolation that so many of us are in, that I am in? Let's not, you know, speak for other people here. That I am in, like physical isolation particularly. I'm not speaking about like social isolation. Well, I'm speaking about both, but I don't mean like, people aren't talking to me. I mean like literally, I don't interact with folks anywhere to the degree I used to, or to the degree that I want to. Okay. Nice accidental right click. I don't know. I'd really like to see certain people, and I really miss them, and I care a lot about them. But I don't think a feeling of rejection really gets a lot of play here. Because it's not like that distance is because people don't like me. No, I could be wrong here, but no, I'm not. Let's not even joke about that. It's not because I'm unloved or unliked. It's because I'm thousands of miles away from people. That does introduce some degree of difficulty in maintaining certain forms of relationships, particularly like romantic relationships. Someone I've been talking to, she's reminded me a lot of myself when I was younger, actually, with what she's been talking about. And I haven't said this to her because it's kind of a weird vibe to bring up. She'll keep saying things to the effect of like, oh god, I wish I could teleport. Just like be there in an instant. And that resonates a lot with me. I used to feel that way, oh my god, so much when I was younger. You know, this feeling of like, I want to be there, but I feel like there's no easy way for me to be there. When I was younger, it was because people I were talking to, person I was talking to specifically, lived in Texas, and I lived in Indiana. Or like the person I was talking to lived in New York, and I lived in Indiana. That's a little bit tricky, huh? We should leave that, actually, Alex, because this pathway wasn't mine. This is a game-generated one, and we try to incorporate the RNG elements into our design. Yeah. This one, though, yeah, we can rip this son of a bitch out. Physical distance is such a frustrating thing in relationships. And this is just like obvious thing. I'll take obvious statements for 500, Alex, right? But really. And for centuries, that kind of distance used to determine the entirety of who you would ever meet or interact with. It would wildly define your life, and it still does. Maybe to a lesser degree, but it certainly still does. And the internet introduces this really interesting, fascinating kind of phenomena, there's no N at the end, phenomena where we can interact with each other and become acquainted and familiar with each other. We could fall in love even, but because we lack this physical temporal kind of connection, emotionally it can be very difficult. Emotionally, there's a lot of frustration, feeling of want and need, of just like this physical component that literally cannot be met. Oh my god, it used to break my heart when I was younger talking about this sort of thing with people that I loved. Because it was something I couldn't give them, and I wanted so badly to be able to be there and give it to them. Like me. My presence. And like, haha, give it to them. Like, they're talking about sex! Yeah, that's part of it. But also just like companionship. Being around, just existing as a being in their life, not just as an idea, not just this like kind of distant, ephemeral, vague notion of a person. These words on a screen or face in a box that you talk to. Not just this distant memory who you remember their warmth, you remember their smell and their touch and how they used to make you feel. But a real, active participant in your life. Not a memory, not a ghost, not some distant facsimile of what used to be. And the longer you spend away from people, the more you become that thing. That half-ghost. That living memory. That echo of sentiment. And the only way to fix that is to be there for one another, with one another. Now, to reintroduce those real experiences. And sometimes, hell, oftentimes you can't. You can't reintroduce those. You can't mend what's broken. You can't unrip a seam. You can make something new. You can patch things in different ways. Relationships can transition, change shape and form. Emotions can mold themselves into something new. But, chasing this dragon of wanting to get back this one specific memory, this one specific thing, this one specific encounter, that one night where we kissed on a mountaintop underneath the full moon. That one night where we sat in the back of a car arguing about why you shouldn't kiss me. And then falling in bed a few hours later. That one night where we held hands in the rusted old remains of a fuel depot. With rats scurrying around and just both being lost in an absolute euphoria of connection and feeling despite the sharp contrast of what was around us. I can't have back that first night where in a tar-laden parking lot, I accidentally kissed you on the cheek when you wanted to kiss me on the lips. Like, all these first moments, you can't have back. You can't relive them, you can't reforge them, you can't force them. And if you could, I think that would take away so much from them. You can't have back that time where a study session turned into wrestling on the couch. You pinning me to my bed and me laughing up at you. Can't have back that night where I lay on the floor looking up at you as we talked until the sun came up. Can't have back that cold winter night where I halfway dared you to do what you so clearly wanted to do and make a move on me. We can't have these days and nights, these memories back. We can hold on to them for a little while. But even those memories in time fade. And I made myself think about this last night when trying to write this poem, this thing, this reflection on what I'm missing, what I'm longing for. I couldn't do it with the degree of articulation, the degree of beauty that I wanted. So I just wrote the word longing. A woefully inadequate word to describe the breadth and width and length and degree of what I was feeling. Why? I wanted to sit down and write something beautiful that resonated, connected, felt real and true to different people, but all I could do was struggle with the words. Words that usually come so easily to me. You know, I kind of reached out to a few people today, but I don't know, I'm not really feeling it. What I'm needing is need is a strong word. I'm not needing much, am I? What I'm wanting is that kind of unapologetic interest, the curiosity when people check up on you first, not respond to you checking up on them. Where you wake up to somebody saying good morning to you, instead of them responding to you saying good morning to them. Small things, petty things. But petty things that can feel so big and so important. I haven't spent today in longing. I haven't spent today lamenting. I've spent today breathing, I think. Breathing. And encouraging myself to find patience. Someone I used to date posted an amazingly flattering photo of themselves. She looks great in it. And this, like, little jealous part of me was like, ugh, they're so attractive. Why did they ever date me? Like, if I were to ever date them or anyone like them again, I would need to look so much better, be so much healthier, yada yada yada. Ugh. It's a terrible way to feel. I mean, in some way, it's not inaccurate, right? We do gauge one another based on physical traits, physical characteristics, some of which oftentimes are completely out of our control. But not entirely. Not entirely. Yeah. But I am feeling very self-conscious today. Which is great. You know, okay, I don't get what the path is trying to do here. I'm okay with starting at 3 here, but it just kind of dies out like right here. Sure. Can I push this back? I think I push this back. Yeah, when I was younger, oftentimes these ruminations on relationships, on dynamics, on the way things had been or had worked, would often lead to me, and you know, I talk about this quite a bit, would often lead to me being like, oh god, I want that back. But that's not really how I am right now. It's not really what I'm wanting right now. What I'm wanting right now is like, I don't want to be coddled. I don't want to be just made to feel comfortable. I want to feel comfortable. I want to recognize the ways in which I'm attractive. I want to be in a place where I can work on aspects of myself that I feel are unattractive, whether like physically, emotionally, socially, or whatever else. But a real source of frustration is I'm feeling very disempowered to do so. In terms of like, let's say, working out. I can do a little. And that's what I should be focusing on. I shouldn't be focusing on what I am focusing on, which is like, well, I can't buy weights. I can't buy anything, really. So I have to work with what I have, and I'm feeling really trapped in my small apartment. So running can feel really claustrophobic. I don't want to go out because I'm anxious about going out. And, you know, it's just kind of anxiety and making excuses. That's where I'm at right now. That's the phase I'm at right now. I'm hopefully gonna will myself into some form of action. But right now I'm in, like, this low-key bargaining phase. Alex? Phase. I'm in a low-key bargaining phase. Not the worst thing in the world. And you know, probably the best way to do that is to say, this is going to be an hour-long segment. Not an hour and a half, not 2 hours. After this, I need to go on a run. Yeah, I mean, that's the only way things actually gonna get done is, you know, actually doing things, but... I'm a little baby, and I want immediate results, and I don't want to have to do the hard work. But also, like, I think there's some legitimacy in me going, like, yo, I'm super depressed. I have crazy levels of financial anxiety right now. These are obstacles that make it hard to focus on taking care of myself. Okay, this is terrible. Get out of here. But you can't let that fear control you. You really can't. You can't let that anxiety, that worry, that doubt control you and rule you, because if you do, you're gonna do very much what I've done this last year and just sit and wait and sit and wait and sit and wait, and nothing really happens, nothing really changes, and maybe things slowly corrode, and that's about the most substantial change you see around you. And ain't nobody want that. That's not helping you. That's not helping anything at all. Shifts directly to the left, and I kind of hate that. So instead, let's have it go up here and continue. Oh, look at that, I'm out of cobblestone. Oh, we got some neat little pathing in that you don't have to jump up and down. Do I need to cut down trees? No, but I'm here, so let's do it. Yeah, so I got about 10 minutes left. We're gonna cut down some trees. We're probably gonna go down, store everything, can check on the craps. And then, it's time for me to put on real music. How do I want to do this? I need to get laundry together, take laundry downstairs, start laundry. Because I want Sheen? My god, my brain is fucked today. Clean, comfy clothes to change into. I was thinking like 4 words in advance. I'm doing that a lot today. It sucks. Clothes to change into. So do that, and then work out, and then shower, and then switch stuff over to the dryer. And I don't know, probably play some shit while stuff is in the dryer, or watch something, or, you know, yesterday I did talk about wanting to do something creative, so we could paint a little, listen to some music, and not stare at a screen for a while. That could be nice. Yeah. I think that that might be the path for the rest of the afternoon today. I'll probably be back on just to try to talk to some people. But I want to do so in a more like, hey, level-headed kind of way, not in a I'm riding on some anxiety kind of way. Oftentimes when I'm feeling anxious or depressed, I don't want to talk to people because I'm cognizant of the fact that I want to talk to people for them to help me deal with this thing, and I don't like going to people and being like, do this thing for me. Because it feels selfish. It feels too transactional. Specifically is how it feels. And I do believe, you know, and I've talked about this before, that all relationships to some degree or another are transactional, but it's something I like to be cognizant of. Listen, this little weird battleship shape, I'm not in love with it, we're not keeping it forever, but it is what it is right now. What are we at? 8 minutes? I got time to make some adjustments here. Yeah. Two doors. I was gonna make a tutors joke. You know, remotely funny? Fuck no. But that's where my brain went. I was gonna say, like, I don't like the tutors. I do, though. I actually do like the tutors, the show, so not only is it, like, barely a joke, but it's a lie. Switch you out for that. Pop you in here. Put a door here. There's a couple of doors. Then we can just access this directly. That's kind of nice. Can I mimic this sort of structure over here? Do we have one on top? Do I want one on top? I don't want one on top. I want this to be hollow. Ah! yeah, well... We're gonna have to have one on top. There we go, just to make this mirrored. Okay, this opens this up a little bit. A little bit. Yep, perfect. That's exactly what I wanted. There we go. Okay, I'm gonna have to put some actual supports in here. This isn't fitting the way it needs to. Alright, you go there, you go there, you go there, you go there. You equip, yep, then you go there, you get the fuck out of here, you go there, you go there. Nope, you're wrong. You go there, you equip together, beautiful. Now we need some light, so pop that there. We're gonna have to put some, like, long-term lighting up here. Is that right? Yeah, that is center. It just looks kind of weird because I don't have an equivalent accompanying side over here, but I kind of don't want to because I kind of like this quick and easy entrance, which gives me the fiat to... We're at 55. That only took 3 minutes. Tell you what, let's sleep. That gives me the ability to tear down the upper part, get rid of the stairs altogether, and restructure the top side so it doesn't look like I carved it out of a hill. Which I did. Because I'm a fucking hobbit. It's a mine entrance, alright? In a mine entrance, you typically don't go up to access. Kind of just go into access. What am I doing with this facade? Honestly, Mr. Gorbachev, tear down these stairs. Get it all out. Get it all out. If I miss it, I can put it back. We got 4 minutes left, so I really think I have time for like this patio section, and that's about it. Wasn't expecting by any means to make any sort of changes beyond just grinding for materials today, so what an unexpected path this has taken. Is it really all that exciting? No, but like, it's different. I'll take different. So on the whole, I'm doing okay. You know. Oh my god. That is a very barky dog. Yeah, in a very introspective kind of day. Not a bad way. Like, there's some bad ways to be introspective today. Not bad. Not bad. Honestly, just kind of weird. And I can feel myself, I can feel like I'm on the precipice of being depressed. And I need to kind of take control of that potential feeling before it becomes that feeling. And to do so requires like some action, but I'm like low-key depressed, so I don't want to do anything. And there's your feedback loop. You don't do anything, then you feel bad for not doing anything. And you don't do anything because you feel bad, and then it keeps looping and looping and looping, and nothing gets done. And I don't really want to do that bullshit right now. What I want to do is not that. So I think I'm gonna do not that. I think I'm gonna instead do something crazy, like, you know, actually do chores I'm putting off, and do something that's good for me, even if it might feel not great while I'm doing it. But then after the fact, I'm sure that I'll be glad that I did it. Alright, we're not doing this. Happy to see all this. Getting turned up. Which is definitely how we describe crops ripening. Oh, those crops are getting turned. Yeah, not going off on like a political tangent today. We just engaging with some more emotional material. I'm pretty good with. Is this it? Oh god, I don't have a helmet. We got 30 seconds, Alex. We got 30. Why did we pick this up? Didn't need to pick this up. Art. There you go. No, I can't sleep. But that's it. That's it. That's us at 10 seconds under an hour. So, okay. I'm gonna go be an architect of my own emotional state by doing stuff I've been putting off, which will make me feel good about it in retrospect. And hey, I encourage you to do whatever the fuck you want. I was gonna say do the same, but honestly, like, no, I don't want to encourage you to do the same or not do the same. You do you. Because you know yourself better than anyone else, and you know what's healthier for you than I do. Probably. Unless you're like a child watching this, in which case, what the fuck are you doing here? Get out of here. Get out of here. I may be back on later. I may not. It really depends what people end up wanting to play or not play tonight. I might just get bored and record another hour like I did yesterday. Which means YouTube is just getting spammed with fucking Minecraft content, which I'm sure people are thrilled about, but well, that's what you get, because I don't know what else I want to do. So until later, I'm gonna say toodaloo. Take care. I'll see you then. Bye-bye.